Muzzle flash explodes in the darkness. The first shot echoes across Blackwood Ranch like thunder. In that split second of light, everything changes. This wasn't a farmer defending his property. This was precision. This was training. This was something the armed gang surrounding the ranch never saw coming. 600 yards. Moving target. Single shot. Perfect kill. Sam Mitchell lowers his rifle and works the bolt with muscle memory that hasn't faded in 11 years. 1 down, 5 to go. You're about to witness what happens when the wrong people attack the wrong ranch. The gang had come expecting an easy target. Isolated ranch. Old farmer living alone. Thousands of acres with no neighbors for miles. What they found was something else entirely. Second shot. Another muzzle flash splits the night. Another perfect hit at impossible range. Sam moves like a ghost through his own property. Every tree, every rock, every sight line mapped in his memory from 11 years of careful preparation. He'd hoped this day would never come, but he'd always known it might. Third shot. The gang leader realizes they're not fighting a farmer. They're being hunted by someone who knows exactly what he's doing. Fall back, fall back. He screams into his radio, but Sam is already repositioning. High ground. Cover. Clear fields of fire. Everything he learned in places whose names are still classified. Fourth shot. Fifth shot. Sixth shot. In 90 seconds, the gang that came to rob Blackwood Ranch is either dead or running for their lives. Sam Mitchell stands in the darkness, rifle still warm in his hands, and allows himself one moment to remember who he used to be. Then he walks back to the house to call the sheriff. But this story didn't start 90 seconds ago. It started 11 years earlier, the day Sam Mitchell died. Not literally, but the day Master Sergeant Samuel Mitchell, U.S. Army Rangers, 2nd Battalion, ceased to exist and became Sam Mitchell, ranch hand. The transition happened in a military hospital in Germany. 3 Purple Hearts, 2 Bronze Stars, 1 Silver Star, and injuries that ended a 20-year career in special operations. The Army wanted to give him a desk job, teach young Rangers what he'd learned in Iraq and Afghanistan, share his expertise with the next generation. But Sam had seen enough war, killed enough men, lost enough friends. He wanted silence, space, animals that didn't shoot back. Blackwood Ranch in Montana offered all 3. For 11 years, Sam had been a perfect employee. Showed up before dawn, worked until sunset, fixed fences, tended cattle, maintained equipment, never complained, never asked for time off, never caused trouble. Ranch owner Bob Blackwood thought he'd found the ideal worker, reliable, skilled, and quiet as a church mouse. What Bob didn't know was that his quiet ranch hand had spent the first year carefully mapping every inch of the property, identifying defensive positions, planning fields of fire, preparing for the day when his past might come looking for him. Sam had built himself a fortress disguised as a cattle ranch. Today, it all paid off. The morning had started like any other. Sam fed the cattle, checked the fence line, and was repairing a water trough when he saw the dust cloud on the horizon. 6 vehicles, moving fast, military formation. Sam's threat assessment training kicked in immediately. This wasn't a social visit. He'd moved quickly to his house, a modest structure that looked ordinary from the outside but had been carefully modified over 11 years. Reinforced walls, bulletproof windows, hidden weapon caches. The rifle was a custom-built .308 that Sam had assembled piece by piece. Long-range precision instrument that could reach out and touch someone at distances that most civilian shooters couldn't imagine. When the gang surrounded his property, they thought they had him trapped. They had no idea they just walked into a kill zone designed by one of the Army's most effective snipers. Back to the present. Sheriff's deputies arriving at Blackwood Ranch to find something unprecedented. 6 gang members, 4 dead from precise long-range shots, 2 wounded and begging to be arrested rather than face the man in the farmhouse. Sheriff Maria Santos had been expecting a home invasion gone wrong, maybe an old rancher who got lucky with a shotgun. What she found was a tactical masterpiece. "Sir," she calls toward the house. "This is Sheriff Santos. Are you injured?" Sam emerges from the darkness, rifle slung casually over his shoulder. "Evening, Sheriff. No injuries here." Santos studies the scene. 4 bodies, perfect shot placement, no wasted ammunition, professional precision that she's never seen in civilian law enforcement. "Sir, I need to ask, what's your background?" Sam meets her gaze directly. For 11 years, he's avoided this moment. For 11 years, He's successfully hidden from the skills that once defined his existence. But there's no hiding now. Army Rangers, he says simply. 2nd Battalion, 20 years, sniper qualified. The words hang in the night air like an explanation for everything. Santos stares at him. You're telling me that for 11 years, Bob Blackwood has had an Army Ranger sniper working his cattle? Former Army Ranger, Sam corrects. I retired from that life. This is who I am now. But the shooting. This level of precision. Sam looks across his property where 4 men lie dead from shots that most police marksmen couldn't make on their best day. Some skills you never lose, even when you want to. The investigation that follows reveals the full scope of what happened. The gang was a professional crew that had been hitting isolated ranches across 3 states. Armed robbery, home invasion, assault. They chose targets based on isolation and perceived vulnerability. They had no idea they'd selected the home of someone who'd spent 20 years perfecting the art of killing people at long range. Detective Frank Morrison arrives from the state police. He examines the scene with growing amazement. These shots, he says to Santos, 600 yards, moving targets, night conditions. This isn't luck. No, Santos agrees. This is training. Sam cooperates fully with the investigation, shows them his legally owned weapons, explains how he'd defended his property using minimum necessary force to stop the immediate threat. What he doesn't explain is the years of preparation, the careful planning, the transformation of a working ranch into a defensive fortress. Some secrets are better left buried. Bob Blackwood arrives at dawn to find his quiet ranch hand sitting on the porch, drinking coffee like nothing happened. Sam, he says slowly, what the hell happened here? Sam pours Bob a cup of coffee. Had some visitors last night. They won't be coming back. The sheriff said you were military. Was. Long time ago. Bob sits down heavily. Why didn't you ever tell me? Because I didn't want to be defined by what I used to do. I wanted to be judged by the work I do for you. They sit in silence, watching the sunrise over land that Sam has protected with skills he hoped never to use again. So who are you now? Bob asks. Sam watches a hawk circling overhead. Someone who came here to forget how to kill people. Someone who learned how to take care of cattle instead. But last night's events have forced Sam to confront a truth he's been avoiding for 11 years. The skills that made him lethal in combat are the same skills that protected innocent people from violence. Maybe there's no escaping who you really are. Maybe the best you can do is choose how to use what you've been given. 2 months later, Sam makes a decision that changes his life. He begins working with local law enforcement as a consultant, teaching rural deputies how to respond to organized crime threats, sharing tactical knowledge that could save lives. He keeps his job at the ranch, but he no longer feels the need to completely hide from skills that, used properly, can protect his community instead of destroy enemy targets. Word spreads through the veteran community. Blackwood Ranch becomes an unofficial gathering place for former military personnel who understand what Sam represents. Not because he's a killer, but because he's a guardian who found peace in honest work. The silent ranch hand of Blackwood Ranch revealed himself to be something far more substantial, a protector who had been hiding in plain sight for 11 years, tending cattle, fixing fences, ready to act when evil came to his door. The local news picks up the story. Ranch hand stops armed gang. But Sam refuses interviews. He's not interested in fame. He's interested in the next fence that needs fixing, the next herd that needs tending, the next day of quiet work, because that's who Sam Mitchell chose to become. Not a warrior, not a hero, just a ranch hand who happens to possess skills that saved lives when they were needed most. So I ask you, have you ever encountered someone whose capabilities seemed to exceed their circumstances? Someone whose quiet competence hid extraordinary training? Share their story in the comments, because sometimes the most dangerous people are the ones who choose to use their power to protect rather than destroy. If this moved you, subscribe and help us honor the quiet guardians walking among us. These are the people who remind us that heroes don't always wear uniforms. Sometimes they wear work boots and tend cattle, until the moment their community needs them to be something more. And remember, the next time you meet a ranch hand whose calm confidence seems unusual, whose competence seems effortless, whose shooting seems too good for a civilian, you might be talking to someone who once served in ways you'll never fully understand, but chose to serve his community by protecting the land and the people who work it, one fence post at a time.